O'Neill Outside Radio is brought to you by these fine sponsors. CVA muzzleloaders, it's just a better gun. Bojangles' famous chicken and biscuits. WORX Power and Garden Tools. Toyota, let's go places. Visit your local Toyota dealer today. Swaggerty's Sausage, the finest premium pork sausage products. Tough Shed, great storage sheds and custom buildings.
Timbuktu Outdoors, the ideal solution to live bait.
Arctic Ice, the most durable, versatile, and effective cooler packs for the outdoorsman. Terminator, the best food plot implements on Earth. And the Georgia Department of Natural Resources, state parks, and historic sites.
From Black Powder headquarters in the Bojangles studio from Three Falls Cabin in the North Georgia Mountains, O'Neill Outside presents CVA Radio. For anything in the outdoors, this is your source. Listen in and call the show with your comments or questions. And now, here's O'Neill.
Good morning, boys and girls. It's 6 minutes after the hour. This is CVA Radio from Black Powder headquarters in the North Georgia Mountains in the Bojangles studio. And what a surprise, this is O'Neill. Welcome to the program, everyone. We've got 2 hours of outdoors headed your way and your calls about various subjects within that. And so we invite you to call. Pardon me, I'll get through stumbling around in a moment. It's early. I only slept for an hour last night, and I'm old. So give me a break, okay? 404-872-0750 in the Atlanta, Georgia area, and outside Atlanta and across the country, 800-972-8255. That's 800-972-8255, 95.5 or 95.5 FM WSB and 750 AM, blasting across the eastern part of the country, and the Sports Map Radio Network, 155 stations across the country. Maybe you're listening to O'Neill Outside in CVA Radio. I hope that you are. So we have a lot of things to do today. Let me invite you to watch O'Neill Outside. It's on Fox Sports Networks throughout the year in our 39th year. Next year will be 40 years. Oh, my goodness. And on VOD Networks. It's on O'Neill Outside website. You can go there. Carbon TV, Waypoint TV, Pursuit. Oh, my goodness, it just goes on and on. If you want to watch O'Neill Outside, it's easily done. It's 8 minutes after the hour, and we have some special trivia questions and things to give away today. We have the radio prize package. Besides that, the Medal of Honor tribute, a new book to introduce you to, which you will want to buy, and various recommendations about hunting during the rut. It's now most likely where you are, or it is fading or just starting. But in any case, how to hunt during the rut. There are a few things that you can do differently that may indeed elevate your catch, so to speak. See more deer. Harvest more deer. Maybe this fall is the time. This is O'Neill. CVA Radio headed your way. You stay right there. We'll be back. Back at 12 after the hour, we have some calls in here already, and a great experienced deer hunter is on the line right now, and I have some questions for him besides the subject of his call. This is O'Neill Outside in CVA Radio. Welcome to the program. If you just joined us, we have 2 hours of outdoors headed your way, and I hope you'll find time to join us. Right now, let's talk to Mark. He's calling from Camden County, way down there in South Georgia. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning, O'Neill. Actually, I'm about 5 miles east of Marshallville, traveling to Talbot County to deer hunt today.
Okay, good. Well, you're always on the way. So how are you, and what are your plans today? Is the rut still going on where you'll be headed?
I'm planning on being in a tree by 6:15, and I'm going to endeavor to sit all day long because the rut is definitely on up here.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that, because in my introduction I wanted to make some recommendations about how you hunt during the rut, how you hunt for white-tailed deer during the rut, whether you live in Georgia, Florida, Texas, Wisconsin, wherever it might be, and you just touched on the number one thing that I had to say, and that is you stay in the stand all day. Now, tell me, Mark, what that means.
That means pretty much sit your butt and pay attention all day long, because this time of year you're liable to have a mature buck come by at any time. And generally speaking, don't hunt the bucks, hunt the does. The buck's going to be hunting the does, so you want to be where the does, where you think the does are going to be.
Right.
And stay there all day long.
Yeah, go where the does are. But this getting out of the stand at 10 or 10:30 and going back at 4 in the afternoon is not the proper strategy, is it?
No, sir. You should stay in the woods all day. If you can't sit all day, and if you're in a piece of woods where you can still hunt, or slip hunt, as some people call it, then do that. But stay in the woods all day.
You betcha.
And pay attention.
Yes, indeed. That's my number one. Now, tell me about where you're going today and how you've properly scouted for the rut where you're headed.
Basically, I've hunted this. I've had this lease up here now for about 6 years, so I'm pretty intimate with the property.
Okay.
And I know the general travel areas that the deer like to use, and I'm going to be watching a major deer thoroughfare today instead of a food source, and I'm going to sit there all day long.
Okay. Well,
I hunted up here, same spot I'm going to this morning. I hunted up here last Saturday, and bucks were in somewhat of an aggressive phase, and I rattled and grunted in a beautiful mature 3-year-old 8-point, probably 15, 16-inch inside spread.
Wow.
Filmed him, got beautiful film footage of it.
Well,
but I'm in no hurry to shoot one, because I shot one Saturday a week ago in Jeff Davis County when they were in full rut. That was 19.5 inches on the inside. So
man, that's Mark, that's a big Georgia deer.
Yep, and I'm really not planning on pulling the trigger all this month unless I see something better.
Right. Okay. Well, that's what a lot of us are doing now. I know I haven't probably taken a buck except in Texas maybe 5 years ago. I can't remember the last time I took one in Georgia, a long, long, long time ago. But I go and I see them plenty, but I just don't pull the trigger on them. So, well, good luck to you today, sir.
Yes, sir, and I would end by saying if you're north of Fitzgerald and south of Gainesville, it's time to sit all day. So.
Yes, it is. Sit in the stand all day. Now, let me ask you one thing here. It's 16 after the hour. What do you use, the second most important, I think, in hunting, whether it's the rut or not, is to cover your scent and play the wind. Do you
I'm a little old. I am a little old school on a deer's nose, and I think a deer's nose cannot be defeated.
Okay.
So what I generally do is I play the wind, and I may try to fool his nose by putting out scents to head him off before he gets to my scent, and maybe even attract him in with a sex scent. But you want to set your scent so that scent covers your flanks.
Right.
If that makes any sense.
Absolutely well said, because by becoming a member and being a member of Quality Deer Management Association for so many years, like you may have been, I can tell you that what I learned from them is not deer camp stories. They are scientists, and they tell you things that are proper, and you just described it, okay? The white-tailed deer, with reference to our own sense of smell, is 10,000 times better.
More sensitive than a bloodhound.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So your strategies work, and I appreciate you calling this morning. Good luck to you, pal.
Yes, sir. Have a good weekend.
You bet. Good luck to you. That's a terrific call. Thanks, Mark. Yeah, every time Mark calls, he passes along things that we can use for other hunters. He's always willing to share. And what he's been hunting at, he's been at it so long, and he treats it in a fashion that is admirable. And he hit on the number one. If you're hunting during the rut, stay in the stand all day. cover your scent, maybe use an attractant, but absolutely play the wind. And if the wind changes, the wind plays a trick on you and changes, move. Now, the basic premise in hunting during the rut or any other time is hunt, if possible, you hunt high in the morning and low in the afternoon if you have to move. Because as the air warms, it will drift up to you in the morning. And then the evening, and this contradicts me a little bit about staying in the stand all day, but in the evening, if you hunt a different spot, the air cools and it drifts down to you. So you say, well, the wind's not blowing. Hey, listen, the wind's moving. If it changes, it's changing in temperature, the air is moving. And that's extremely important in your strategies. Now, one of the things before we get out of here for the first break at 21.5, I have, people say, well, hold on. Well, if the deer's up all day, when does he sleep? During the rut, he rarely does. And according to QDMA, he may lie down in the high grass for a moment for 30 seconds. Maybe a minute. He will sleep with his eyes open and his ears erect. So he's tuned in to danger. A white-tailed deer is a prey animal, and he stays alive with his eyes, his ears, his nose, and his feet. And he can detect scent and he can detect movement. Now, think about this for a moment, and I'd appreciate your calls. 2 questions. Number 1, is a white-tailed deer colorblind? Number 2, what's the relationship between the color of the leaves changing and the beginning of the rut? 2 questions. Is a deer colorblind? And what is the relationship between the changing of the colors of the leaves this time of year and the start of the rut? You ready to answer those? We'll talk about it. I'll be back. 24 after the hour. I'm a minute early, and welcome back to the program, everyone. I've got a lot of excuses, but I missed the last break. I'm sorry. Okay, here we go. 24 after the hour. We've got a call we want to take right now. John is calling from Lilburn, Georgia, and he's going to give us a chance to talk about cover scent, I believe. Go ahead, John. What's going on?
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Excuse me. Sorry.
It's all right.
Yeah, something we found to use, you can use just about anywhere in the state of Georgia, is onions. We'd cut up onions and rub them on our shoes.
Really?
Yeah, and that helped a lot. It's a good cover, and there's onions everywhere in Georgia.
How about that?
Yeah, so that helped a lot.
Well, that's something I haven't heard. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I've seen them walk down the trail behind me and not even bat an eye, so. But I found that's the best thing to do is keep your boots in a bag, keep them away from the fire, and don't go to the grocery store and all that with your boots on.
Yeah, right. I agree. You can put.
That is.
I understand too, and I do it. You can put 20 Mule Team borax.
Yeah.
In your boots also when you're not wearing them, and that helps cover that scent too.
Yeah, we sometimes would use rubbing alcohol, spray it down, let it sit for a bit, and that will take care of the scent. And they won't smell the alcohol because it'll evaporate.
Right. Boy, that's excellent.
That's when we rub them down with onions.
Yeah, that's excellent. That's just excellent, John.
Yeah, well, you hear them all over the place, tips from here and there.
Oh, yeah, here's one for you that I learned from a good friend of mine. Ready?
Okay.
He purchased and uses a bee smoker. You know what that is?
Yeah.
And he puts he puts pine needles in it, and he lights a bee smoker, and he smokes up his clothes with the smoke off of that, off of the pine needles, and it really, I can tell you, it really works.
They don't smell the smoke?
They smell the smoke, but it doesn't represent danger to them.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah, because, and one tip that I learned from my dad about deer is they have 3 senses: smell, hearing, and sight. And if you don't disturb more than 2 of those 3, you're okay. If he sees you and doesn't smell you, you're okay. Any combination, but if he hears you and smells you, he's gone.
Yeah, that's
any combination of those 3. If he does 2 of them, he's gone.
That's a good formula. 2 out of 3, huh? How about that?
Well, 2 out of 3, and he's nothing but whitetail.
I understand too, John, that a white-tailed deer has scent orifices or scent holes in the top of his mouth. So that when a lot of times if you're watching a deer in the food plot or whatever, you'll see him look like he's licking the air.
Oh, yeah.
And what he's doing is he's delivering scent molecules into the top of his mouth.
Huh.
Interesting, isn't it?
That is something. I'd never heard that.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing.
Yes. If you haven't already, please consider joining Quality Deer Management Association.
How do I do that?
They are in Bogart, Georgia, QDMA. And they're not interested in fairy tales.
Oh, yeah.
What they tell you is scientific, and you can really learn a lot about the white-tailed deer.
Yeah, I'll bet.
You bet. Hey, are you hunting this weekend?
Yes, sir.
Good deal. Good luck to you, pal.
Hey, well, thank you very much, and you have a good weekend.
You
my
too.
friend.
See you later. All right. Mighty fine. 404-872-0750, 800-972-8255. Let's talk now to our good friend Milton Crabapple. Good morning, Milton.
O'Neill?
Yes, sir.
Milton Crabapple.
Good to hear from you, Milton.
How you doing this morning?
I'm doing lovely. Got an hour's sleep last night, so I'm ready to talk hunting. How about you?
Coon hunting, was you?
No, but no, I was not. I was preparing for the radio show.
Well, I didn't know it took that much work. But anyhow, I'm glad you prepared for it.
Yeah, a little bit, as best I can. How are you, sir, and what have you been doing this deer season?
Well, I've been deer hunting. I didn't go this morning. I had some stuff I had to take care of, some business this morning, so I'll be probably going one day this week.
Okay.
But I ain't pulled the trigger on one yet, but I've seen some. You was talking about that smoke a while ago.
Yes.
Now, I'll tell you what, I hunt on the ground, and I got me a brush pile that I keep adding to it, and I sit up in that brush pile with one of them leafy type shoots on, and I sit next to a good deer trail. Now, I take that bee smoker when I get dressed and get ready. Of course, I wash my clothes, and some of that soap to get the scent out of it, but before I go into the woods, I fire up that bee smoker, and I just smoke myself till I just smell like a pine knot. I smoke my pack, my gun, lift up my cap, smoke it inside, just smoke myself up from head to toe, my gloves, everything. Now, so far, I've been sitting in that little brush pile, leaning up against a tree, and I've seen 5 deer so far this year. I've seen one buck. He was about a 6-pointer, I reckon. I let him go by. I thought there might be a bigger one behind him, but there wasn't one. But anyhow, I've seen 5 deer this year, and every one of them come from exactly behind me downwind. and they walked up that trail, and that trail from where I'm sitting to where they walked is exactly 10 yards.
Wow.
So they come up from behind me, and I'm just sitting there, and all of a sudden I just might turn my eyes around. There's a deer just standing there 10 yards away looking around. He ain't looking at me. He's looking around like he smelled something a little bit, but it ain't something that spooked him.
Right.
He ain't spooked. He's smelling and sniffing around. Then when they get on past me and get on upwind, then they quit smelling and go to feeding and looking around. They don't associate smoke with people.
Right.
And that's the deal. They smell smoke all the time on account of there's trash fires burning and woods burning and fireplaces burning, and there's smoke blowing all over the countryside all winter long.
Okay.
And they smell it. Now, I had another fella, a friend of mine, tell me that he used to not see many deer, and he finally just quit worrying about it, and he likes to smoke cigars, and he said he started just smoking a cigar while he was on his deer stand.
Uh-huh.
And he said since then he sees more deer than he's ever seen since he started smoking cigars on his deer stand.
How about that?
Ain't that something?
I've never heard that before.
Of course, now, I don't know what brand of cigar he's smoking now.
Okay.
But anyhow, man, if all of that fails, there's one thing that you can always depend on that works.
Okay.
Dude's number one.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's that concoction that Dude makes up. Now, it's a liquid deer lure. I don't know. And nobody knows how he makes it because he locks himself in the bathroom when he makes it.
I see. Okay.
But anyhow, I'll guarantee you can go put some of that stuff on the ground on the edge of a swamp.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can go around and sit on the other side of the swamp, and them deer will come right to you.
Oh yeah, they go away from the Dude's number one.
Yeah, he calls it deer drive in a bottle.
Okay, I believe
yes,
that.
sir.
I believe that.
He's got another one too, which is more of a paste bait. He calls it Dude's number two.
I got you.
It smells the same way though.
I got you.
And after deer season, if you got any left, you can use it for catfish lure too.
I'll bet. Oh my goodness. Well,
yes, sir.
I'm so proud we learned so much from you, Milton, when you call.
Well, I don't know how much you learn, but I love to talk. Anyhow, one more thing, stay away from them bedding areas too. That's one good way to mess everything up for the whole season.
Yes, indeed.
Getting around them bedding areas.
You betcha. You betcha. Well,
Stop by the jail.
Right.
I'll give you some more secrets. I got some secrets that I can't share with you on the radio.
Okay. Well,
we'll finish that checker game.
Well, I'll drop by this week.
Much obliged.
Thank you, Milton. I appreciate you calling, pal.
Yes, sir.
See you later. Okay. Oh, Lord. I've only got about 2 minutes. Let's talk to David right quick. Good morning, David. It's O'Neill. Welcome.
Thank you, O'Neill. Milton's something else, huh?
Oh, yes. He's hilarious.
And
and knowledgeable.
We're going deer hunting tomorrow. I guess we screwed up on the rut because it starts this week, not next week. We talked about last week hunting in the morning because they can't see you because it's dark.
Uh-huh.
But is it likely to see the does too during the rut or just the bucks moving around?
Well, the bucks are chasing the does. If the does will be concentrating on a feeding area. Or
so, like, if I'm hunting by food plot and I've got corn and stuff all in it at 400 yards, the does are going to be focused on that, so the bucks ought to be chasing them.
The bucks, well, they will come by. I don't know if chasing is the right word. If they are in estrus, then they will be chased. If they're not, the bucks will come by. They will visit to see if the does are in estrus.
And the bucks won't eat.
And he can tell by how they smell.
Right. And the bucks, they don't eat during the rut, correct?
They don't do anything but chase does.
Right.
That is correct. That is correct. Well, good luck to you today, pal. You got it figured out.
All right, O'Neill, I look forward to talking to you next week, too.
You bet. Stay in the stand all day.
Thank you, O'Neill.
You bet. I'll see you soon, pal. Good luck to you. Wade, you hold on if you will, please. It's 36 after the hour. This is O'Neill Outside with CVA Radio. It's deer hunting time, and I'm still looking for the answer. You're listening to the #1 live outdoor-based radio talk show in the country. I'm O'Neill Williams is my name. The show is O'Neill Outside and CVA Radio. Now, I've been asking the question about whether deer are colorblind. That is not the radio prize package question. I have that in a moment, but first, he's been holding on quite a while and being patient. We're talking now to Wade, and he's calling from Bowling Green, Kentucky. Good morning, Wade.
It's awful early up here.
It's early everywhere, boy.
It's 3 o'clock in the morning.
I can't hear you.
I'm an hour different than you are.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I'm behind y'all.
Okay. Central time.
Oh, it's fun. It's fun when you get to watch the game shows in the morning after your girlfriend done told you the answer.
Oh, I got you.
How do you know all the answers to the Price is Right? Well, Deanna done told me.
Yeah, I got you. That's easy enough. And you're slick enough to make it
some
work.
People call it cheating.
Pardon?
They running hard up here, O'Neill.
Oh, boy, they're running hard everywhere. Well, not everywhere, but most places. Yes, indeed, they are. Well, let me ask you.
We went to the old.
Let me ask.
Yes, sir.
Let me ask you, and then I got a bunch of calls here. What's the relationship between the changing of the color of the leaves in the fall and the beginning of the white-tailed deer rut?
It's the length of daylight hours.
Correct.
It begins changing the color of leaves. It makes the leaves produce a wax. It comes over the leaves. It stops the photosynthesis, which technically kills the leaf, which protects the tree. The moisture goes back down into the base of the tree, and the deer start to change a little bit of color. They start, their habits change, and the mating season kicks in full steam.
You betcha. You got it just right. As a matter of fact, it's interesting, and it's related to the answer to your question, and that is those golden and yellow and those colors in the leaves, they're there all the time. But with the declining declining number of hours of daylight, the green leaves or fades away and leaves the golden color. Interesting.
It puts out a waxy substance that kills the photosynthesizing agent on the leaf.
That's right.
Which is how the tree turns light into food.
Right. It keeps it from producing photosynthesis.
You know, algae does the same thing.
Pardon?
Algae in water does the same thing.
It does the same thing. You're smart, Wade.
That's what causes that red tide.
Yeah. You're smart. That's good.
When the water heats up to a certain degree, the algae blooms.
Uh-huh. Well, tell me, are you hunting this weekend?
No, I'm coming down to do the Christmas tree thing at the Buford Pine Straw lot, which we do every year.
Yeah.
And, I'll tell you about that cedar.
Yeah.
That red cedar I'm making a birdhouse out of.
Uh-huh.
I made a couple of nativity scenes out of them. Boy, they're going to sell like hotcakes.
Well, you're an artist.
It's real pretty. The wood is just, they call it red pine, O'Neill. They don't know what they got up here.
Yeah.
It's red cedar. I mean, it's hard-cut cedar, and it's cut about 2 miles from the house here.
Oh, boy. Well, good. I'm glad
they
you
let
called.
me hand-pick my boards and everything.
We always learn something when you call, Wade, and I appreciate that.
Well, I'm going to pull it back on hold while I listen to you. I'm having trouble getting you on the podcast this morning. I ain't awake yet, though. I took some swaggerty sausage and some ground beef and made a meatloaf.
Oh, boy.
And mashed taters and gravy and cream corn, homemade cream corn. Me and Gary went to bed early last night.
Isn't it funny how you mix some swaggerty sausage in your ground beef for meatloaf and it makes it taste so much better?
Yeah, and put lots of peppers and onions and cheated. I used brown gravy mix. I made homemade mashed taters and homemade cream corn. I cheated on the brown gravy. I used to have a pack.
I understand. All right, my good friend, let me go. I got lots to do. I'll put you back on hold There you go. And let's see now. We've got several calls here at 44 after the hour. I asked one fellow here that's John and Lilbert. I've already talked to him. Let's talk to David in Atlanta to answer my question. David, you're welcome to the program. David?
Hi, O'Neill. I talked to you about 5 minutes ago, but I've got the answer to your question if deer are colorblind.
And are they?
They're colorblind to a degree. Don't they see like a greenish-reddish color?
No, they can see blue. They can see the color blue. And
that's it, right?
Yeah, that's it. Various shades of blue. Light blue, dark blue, and everything, but that's generally the only color that a white-tailed deer can see. And we'll talk more about that. Glad you took the time glad you took the time to call, sir. We're going to talk more about that. Okay?
All right.
All right, you stay right there, pal, and keep listening. 45 after the hour, I've got time for the radio prize package. The first correct caller. The rules are you have to be 18 years old, and you cannot have won a prize pack before in the last year. And this is what you can win: a Bojangles gift card, some Swaggerty sausage, DNR rigs, a Big Green Egg grill lighter, Arctic Ice Pack, Angler Magazine, State Parks Guide from Georgia, Fisher's Choice Baits, and a HydroShot glass. And the question is, and we always make it personal, the question is, our grandson, Travis, is a deer guide. In what state does he live? That's the question, and it won't be repeated if you call. It's 46 after the hour, and we've got time now to speak to John. And John is calling from New York. Good morning, John.
Yes, greetings from the Catskill Mountains. And after hearing you and Wade, I already ate breakfast, but I'm starting to get hungry again.
It's been a while.
Talking about all that food.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. So next week in New York, it's opening day rifle season, and it's the most anticipated day of the year.
Oh, boy.
So I got some personal observations about deer hunting. I'm not an expert, but this is what I've found out over the years.
Okay.
Where you expect a deer to come from, sure enough, it's probably going to come from the opposite direction. So you got to be prepared for anything, right?
That is correct.
And, yep. And if you see a doe walk by, don't always think eventually a buck might be following behind her. I've seen where a buck has picked up on her tracks and ended up backtracking her. He's going the wrong way.
That's correct.
So he's actually coming from where she went to. Yeah, you never know.
You betcha.
And just when you're watching, if you happen to see some deer and you're watching them and all of a sudden they look up, you look up, make sure, see what they're looking at. They got a good set of eyes and ears and nose, so you could use them to find things out.
Oh, by the way,
and,
as a matter of fact,
yeah.
I was going to say, as a matter of fact, one of the things that's a signal to you if there are does in front of you in a food plot, in a field, in a pasture, watch them. If they raise their heads and point their ears over into the woods, it very well could be that there is a buck there that you cannot see.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I've gotten deer that way. That's why I'm going down this list. Now, a really, really windy day, if you're blowing around a tree stand, get out of the tree stand and slow walk. It's a great time to still hunt, walk real slow, and I've gotten deer that way too.
Yeah.
How about two bucks fighting?
Yes, indeed. They're focused on each other. I have video of two really big bucks fighting when I was hunting in Texas one time, and they weren't paying any attention to me, and I was about 20 feet from them.
Yep. You could sneak right up on them.
You betcha.
Yep.
You betcha.
I've done that before, too.
You bet.
Now, O'Neill, when clearing out a shooting lane through the woods, before the season starts, you could use a pair of binoculars to close focus and far focus up and down that shooting lane just to make sure there's not a branch in the way. You might pick up on a branch that you didn't normally see with the naked eye.
Good idea.
Right? Yep. any deer noises you look at, listening for? Obviously you're listening for walking on leaves or a grunt.
Mm-hmm.
How about a sneeze? I've heard deer sneeze in the woods before.
Yeah, well, some people call it a sneeze, and he does that, and sometimes he'll just snort. When he smells something, he will snort and wheeze. So sometimes people call it that.
Yep.
But they sneeze also, absolutely.
Yep, so you're listening. Yep, listening for all sorts of sounds. And remember, when you're sitting down and then you get up to leave, after you take it a couple, 2-3 steps, stop and turn around and look and see where you're sitting. Make sure nothing fell out of your pockets, that you didn't leave nothing behind.
Good idea.
And the last one is tree stand safety. 3 weeks ago, we had a guy, they ended up landing a helicopter in our field out front here for an airlift. A guy fell out of his tree stand he was working on, got a compound fracture.
Oh, boy.
3 weeks ago, and he's probably going to miss opening day season.
Yeah,
that's a $60,000 helicopter ride he just took.
Oh, my goodness.
Yep, so tree stand safety.
Was he repairing the stand and preparing it for the season?
Yes, he was.
Oh, well, that's a good idea.
Unfortunate for him. Yep, tree stand safety.
Well,
good luck to everybody. And like I said, next week is the most anticipated day of the year for us. And I know a lot of people, other states have opening day, and it's a great thing.
I'll look forward to your call.
Thank you.
Thank you, John. See you soon, pal. I always enjoy his.
Yep.
There we go. Let me drop that one. There you are, John. Thank you for that call. And he's probably still on the line. And there we go. This is O'Neill and it's 51 after the hour. I've got time for this. And that's the radio prize package. The question for the radio prize package was, our grandson, Travis, who used to be on the television show with me, is now a white-tailed turkey antelope guide and a cattleman. And in what state does he live? And let's talk to Curtis. He's calling from Winder, Georgia. Good morning, Curtis. What do you say?
Good morning, Dale. How are you today?
Lovely.
Travis lives in Oklahoma.
Yeah, a great little town called Sweetwater, Oklahoma.
Sweetwater, right.
Yeah. I believe he lives way out in the countryside, and the closest house to him is over a mile away.
Well, he should have it quiet and peaceful then.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. He surely does. And right now, I got tickled at him. He called the other day, and he said, I'm on the way back to camp, and I've got some antelope. He said, they call them speed goats. And I said,
pretty good.
Yeah, and I said, well, how many do you have? He said, I've got a truck full. I've got 9 in the truck.
Wow, that was a multitude.
Yeah. Going back to the barn and harvest and clean 9 speed goats at once.
Wow, he had a busy schedule.
You betcha. All right, my friend, I got to go. Listen, good luck to you. Give us a couple of weeks. I'll put you back on hold to make sure that we've got your information, and we'll get it to you really soon. This is O'Neill with CVA Radio. It's 54 after the hour, and we'll be back. Okay, 57 after the hour. We learned quite a bit, didn't we, in discussing deer hunting in the first hour, and we'll continue to do so. We found out from some experts, some experienced hunters, during the rut, you hunt all day. You can help cover your scent by using a bee smoker or at least standing in the fire next to camp. Number 3, you can use onions and wipe them on your clothes and skin, and that will help cover your scent. We learned that the deer's capability of scent detection is somewhere about 10,000 times better than a human. It was a pretty good discussion about deer hunting, wasn't it? We learned from our callers, and we gave away a nice prize package for somebody who knew knows where Travis lives. He lives in Oklahoma, and I think Travis looks after about 1,000 acres. No, way more than that, way more. But he's a cattleman now, and all of you know Travis because of his being on the television show there a few years ago. And even now, the television show is called O'Neill Outside with Travis Johnson. It's 58.5 after the hour. We've got another hour of outdoors headed your way. Why don't you plan on calling? We'll talk about fishing. We've got a new book to introduce you to you, written by one of our callers, Hank the Yank. And we'll have an interview with Ken Sturdivant later in the hour about depth finder usage. How do you make the best of it? Especially now, since the lake has turned over and the game fish are generally deeper than they ever have been until the lake completely turns over, and then they will fulfill the water column from 50 feet, 100 feet, all the way up to 2 feet. Interesting, huh? So we have some things to talk about. The telephone numbers are 404-872-0750 in the Atlanta, Georgia area, and 800-972-8255 all across the country, from Miami to Maine, Seattle to L.A., and everything in between. This is O'Neill. We'll be back.
O'Neill Outside Radio is brought to you by these fine sponsors. CVA muzzleloaders, it's just a better gun. Bojangles' famous chicken and biscuits. WORX Power and Garden Tools. Toyota, let's go places. Visit your local Toyota dealer today. Swaggerty's Sausage, the finest premium pork sausage products. Tough Shed, great storage sheds and custom buildings.
Timbuktu Outdoors, the ideal solution to live bait.
Arctic Ice, the most durable, versatile, and effective cooler packs for the outdoorsman. Terminator, the best food plot implements on Earth. And the Georgia Department of Natural Resources, state parks, and historic sites.
From Black Powder headquarters in the Bojangles studio from Three Falls Cabin in the North Georgia Mountains, O'Neill Outside presents CVA Radio. For anything in the outdoors, this is your source. Listen in and call the show with your comments or questions. And now, here's O'Neill.
Welcome, everyone. This is O'Neill from Three Falls Cabin in the North Georgia Mountains. The second hour of outdoors headed your way, and we hope that you'll join us. It's called CVA Radio, and we welcome your comments and your questions and your participation in the program. We have a lot of calls right now. We'll get to them in a moment, but first of all, let me tell you that you can reach us by 404-872-0750 in the Atlanta area, at 95.5 FM WSB and 750 AM across the eastern United States. Plus, the Sports Map Radio Network, 155 stations across the country, Maine to Miami, Seattle to L.A., and everything in between, especially Texas. A lot of deer hunters and outdoorsmen in Texas, Louisiana, and so forth. Oh, I forgot to tell you the other day, we went to Cajun Vista Lodge a few weeks ago in between hurricanes, and man, oh man, did we catch them. There were about 28 or 30 of us on the trip, and when you have an opportunity, look up Cajun Vista Lodge, Barataria, Louisiana. It is a fishing experience. Once you park your truck or car, you don't go anywhere else for meals, lodging, guides, nothing else. You get to stay right there, and it's a wonderful, wonderful trip. And I endorse them heartedly. I've probably been to Cajun Vista probably somewhere around 10 or 12 times over the years, and every one of those have been a pleasure. Later in the program, we'll have our interview with Hank the Yank, right when we come back from the first break, and his new book. We'll talk later on with Ken Sturdivant about the use of depth finders in deep water this time of year. We will have also the Medal of Honor tribute, the most important part of the program every week, and we hope you enjoy that. This is O'Neill, 404-872-0750, 800-972-8255, the number one live outdoor-based radio talk show in the country. We hope you'll join us, and we'll be right back. Welcome to the program, everyone. We have a lot of calls, and here we are with our first call of the second hour, and it's Hank the Yank. What do you say, my good friend?
Good morning, Mr. Williams. How you doing?
I'm doing fine.
I'm guiding probably 3-4 days a week.
Oh, that's good. May I show on television now? May I show everyone your book?
Yes, you may.
Okay, and
it's official. It's here.
Yeah, and it's called.
It's called Fly Fishing for Freshwater Stripers. That's what it's called. And I know you've got a copy.
Yes.
And I think we'll probably sell a half a dozen before it goes out of print.
This is an exhaustive study of fly fishing, not only for fly fishing for stripers, but for light tackle fishermen also, is it not, Hank?
It is. It's funny you mention that. The publisher Skyhorse, which is Lions Press, which is one of the largest outdoor companies for publishing outdoor books in the country, they wanted a book on fly fishing for freshwater striped bass because it's exploding around the country from, we have stripers and hybrids in 38 states in the lower 48. And so they were looking for a book as it gets more and more popular on fly fishing. But, O'Neill, when I wrote the book, there's probably 9 chapters, over 200 pages, talking, of all the information of how to locate the fish, how to pattern them, how to catch them, the whole 9 yards. But I did not write it with the thought of fly fishing. I really wrote it with whether you are a fly angler or a light tackle angler, just trying to fish artificials. The book will give you all the information you need to know on how to go about from scratch, get to catching these great game fish, and doing it within the first year, because it's if you talk to me or you talk to Mac or any of the other guides, Bill Carson, who calls in quite a bit, people will tell you these animals are hard to catch. They're not easy, especially on artificial, whether it's fly or light tackle. So I really tried to put in as much information to get people over the hump and take you through a typical 9-month season, which is basically starting around September through May, on what you need to do to locate, find, and catch stripers in any method possible.
Well, you did an exhaustive study of it. It is, I don't know what other question anyone might have that's not answered in this book. I congratulate you, sir. This is fabulous.
Well, thank you.
Fabulous.
Thank you. And the folks out there, the folks out there that listen to the show should know that, O'Neill was given a big thanks for actually putting the best quote in the whole book together came from you, which is
stripers don't know where they live.
That's right. That's right. And you and I have, I've heard you say that to me for 20 years. And when I was writing the book, the publisher said to me, "Now look, Henry, this can't be about Georgia and the Southeast. We need to include all the fisheries from California all the way back to Pennsylvania and everywhere in between." And so those words of yours resonated with me when I was writing this thing over and over and over. And it had to be included in the book because of that.
Well, you're very kind.
So I thank you for that, on the radio. Even though I thanked you for that in my preface, I thank you for that in person on the radio.
Well, you're very, very kind. And indeed, that is correct. And that idea or understanding that will permeate throughout wherever you go, whatever you use, however you fish, heat, cold, whatever. The striper doesn't know where he lives. So
that's right.
Yeah.
And what most folks don't realize is that all of us that fish for these things, everything is based on water temperature.
Correct.
I mean, whether you're finding the bait, finding the fish, it's all based on water temperature. And when I just want to clarify that when you say they don't know where they live, for those folks that love the show but don't fish a whole lot, you know, the water temperature on a lake in Virginia may be a lot different in the month of October than the water temperature, say, on a lake in California or in Arkansas. Mm-hmm. And so the patterns will be the same. It just may be that Virginia, because it may cool down a little quicker than, let's say, in Georgia or Arkansas, their pattern will happen a little earlier than ours.
Certainly.
But then coming out of the out of the winter into the spring, because it heats up a little warmer here in Georgia earlier, our pattern, they will follow our patterns later in Virginia or in California because we heat up a little earlier.
Yes.
So that's when you say that's where that reference, and I just want the folks out there to understand what that means.
You bet. Well, good luck to you today.
That's really it. It's available on Amazon.
Okay.
I'm sorry?
No, please, go ahead. They're available.
I was going to say it's available on it's available at Amazon, Books A Million, and Barnes and Nobles, and then a lot of the local shops here in Georgia will carry it. Hammond's will have it. The Fishhawk, Unicoi Outfitters, Orvis is supposed to have it. So it's personally, I think it's a good stocking stuffer. It's $16.99. It's affordable.
Right. Wonderful. I congratulate you, sir. I congratulate
you. I appreciate it. Yeah, so I'm getting ready to go out on the pond. It's the fishing. I'm sure we'll hear from Mac very shortly, who, by the way, had a lot of his philosophies and theories on stripers are in the book. But the fishing is really. I was out this past week a couple of days, and the fish are just all over the surface, eating off the top.
Oh boy!
And it's been just a lot of fun. Not easy, but a lot of fun.
You bet. Thanks for calling, Henry.
You hear
Good luck
that
to you,
whining
pal.
in the background? You take care, pal. Bye.
I will do that. See you soon, my friend.
All right.
It's always great to talk with you. All right, let's see here. Let me drop that one. And we've got time, I believe. First of all, let's go ahead and talk to Mac because he's so closely associated with Hank the Yank. What do you say, buddy? What's going on? Uh-oh, I pushed the wrong. If I push the correct button, maybe I'll get to talk to Mac. What do you say, my friend?
Man, I was sitting here watching. I saw you press the wrong button again. Great.
It's
but
typical.
You got it. So, how you doing, man?
Good. It's fall. It's great.
I've been in. Oh yeah. Oh, the weather's been beautiful, and man, what a great time of year. Now I got to tell you, we talked about this last week. We talked a little bit about deer hunting. I know that's not what guys want to hear. But I saw more deer chasing this week. It's full on, and I saw two of the nicest bucks I've ever seen ever on the lake, and it was crazy. They're super active, so. I hate to discourage people from going fishing, but if you're a deer hunter, man, you probably need to be out there.
Yeah,
maybe
now's the time, huh?
Yeah, they really lit it up this week.
Good. Are you going out today?
Yeah, earlier in the week particularly. Yeah, and what Henry said, really be watching when you're riding around the lake. Be looking for those schooling fish, and you have to look for them. If there's no wind, they're still pretty easy to see, but sometimes it's kind of subtle. But there's a lot of schooling fish, I think, more so earlier in the day, particularly if you get a lot of sun. But you may see them anywhere at any time, and you don't have time to tie on the lure. You need to have something ready to cast.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if you start digging around the tackle box, you're done.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I have two different colors.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely, because they're up and down pretty quick. If you can get to them.
You bet.
They're pretty catchable. Now they've started moving more towards smaller baits. You might downsize your line, downsize your bait. That'll make a big difference. But be ready for them if you see them. Other than that, a lot of fish being caught on down lines over a 40, 50-foot bottom. There are some fish starting to push back up in the backs of the creeks, and there are some fish very shallow too. You catch with casting.
Mac,
artificials, the bass guys are starting to catch some.
Tell me quickly how somebody can get in touch with you and arrange a day of fishing.
Call us at 770-235-8135 or find us online at CaptainMax, CaptMacks.com.
Good luck, pal. I got to go. They see you there, my friend. This is O'Neill, 21 after the hour. We'll be back.
It's almost quitting time, but your family's hunger is gearing up for the night shift. Now, you could unload groceries, chop, dice, mince, preheat, heat, slap around the smoke detector, and then celebrate with a big old pile of dishes. Or you could drop a big bow box on it. Because whether you need an 8, 12, or 20 piece with biscuits, fixins, and tea, you can clock out and spend some quality time with a delicious dinner. Now, when it comes to sneaking a biscuit on the drive home, that's all you. Bojangles, it's bow time.
If you think a tin shed can hold up like a tough shed, you're in for a big surprise.
After 38 years, our buildings speak for themselves. Dream, design, and build at toughshed.com.
Ready to do more, but work less? Meet the WORX AeroCart. It makes heavy things feel lighter than air. The secret is AeroCart's breakthrough design. The wheels are right under the weight, so every load will instantly feel 4 times lighter. And forget this. With 2 wheels, AeroCart has a super stable wheelbarrow. It's also a hand truck, personal forklift, rock mover, over 8 machines in one. Live less, do more. Get your WORX AeroCart today. Available at WORX.com.
There was a time when the best pork sausage came from a farm just down the road. A pork sausage so fresh, so flavorful, it always made breakfast the best meal of the day. You can still find that same farm fresh flavor today in every package of Swaggerty's Farm Premium Sausage, made using only the finest cuts of 100% fresh pork with no fillers added. It's quite possibly the best tasting sausage in America.
The Furminator RT by Renews Outdoor Equipment combines a rugged gear-driven tiller with the proven seed delivery and cultipacking systems that made the Furminator famous. The RT heavy-duty tiller allows true one-pass planting in most soil types like never before. An added feature is the tiller and seeder can be separated and used independently, making the RT perfect for a small garden at home or a large field food plot. The Furminator RT by Renews Outdoor Equipment.
Be ready to go fishing anytime with Fisher's Choice canned baits. Yes, canned baits. Real shrimp, worms, and crickets. Preserved and packaged in a way for you to keep and use whenever you want to go fishing. They stay soft and moist. They look and feel like live bait. Panfish just love them. Unopened, they have a 5-year shelf life, 2 weeks after they're opened. Order online at TimbuktuOutdoors.com.
25 after the hour. Welcome back. This is CVA Radio, and we've got our callers here, and they're coming up, and I'm going to get to them. But I've arranged with our good sponsors at WORX Tools, WORX for them, because it's Christmas time and holiday time, to have a very special prize. And my feeling about thing is you don't give things away, you have to earn them. So you have to earn a WORX reciprocating saw. Okay? This is a nice prize, and it'll be a hand tool that you'll use forever. And it's not the regular radio prize package, because the radio prize package it's about us. It's about Gail. It's about O'Neill. It's about the radio show and our history together. So you have to be a listener to know the answer. This question is about outdoor trivia, and we'll give away an Axis reciprocating saw. We'll give away one for the next 6 or 8 weeks through Christmas time, something like that. So here is your question. Telephone numbers are 404-872-0750 or 800-972-8255. Here is your question. And it won't be repeated when you call. You have to have the answer when you get your call answered. What do you call, or what is the name of a female red fox. What do you call the female of the red fox species? Okay, 27 after the hour. Now let's talk to Ken. We can learn something from Ken Sturdivant, calling from Cumming, Georgia. Good morning, Ken.
Good day, good day. Can I answer the trivia question? It's Gail.
No. Boy, you're the greatest, man.
Oh, what fun. Good morning.
Good morning. Excuse me just a moment. All right. Now, I want to understand some of the questions. How long have you been a guide?
Ooh, trick question. Do I get a saw?
No.
Oh, probably 45 years.
Okay. What is the, let's see, I'm going to ask this correctly. What's the most valuable lesson that you teach in your guided fishing schools?
Don't stop the boat till you see the fish.
Ooh, nice answer. And how is it that you accomplish that, sir?
Today's modern technology allows us as anglers to scan 600 feet of water to the left and 600 feet of water to the right of our boat. We can see the fish. We can count the fish. I can tell you what they are. I can tell you where they are. But now you got to figure out how to catch them.
Aha, good for you. And
that's the trick.
Yeah, you bet. And I know that, you and I are both getting old. How many days a week do you take out a group?
I'm usually on the water 3 to 4 days a week right now.
Uh-huh.
And we're doing mostly sonar classes because that's what everybody's looking for. And I hear this all the time. Your leading question was perfect. I think I can catch them if I can find them. I just don't know how to find them. So we train them with the side imaging technology from any vendor. It doesn't matter, Lowrance, Garmin, Humminbird.
Mm-hmm.
And we ride down a row of about a mile of boat docks, let's say we're bass fishing, and there are 68 boat docks on that bank. 2 of them have fish on them. The rest of them are worthless.
Oh.
So we ride the bank about 80 to 90 feet, scanning to the right and left. And when we see the fish, you can actually see the floats of the boat docks, and you can see the fish, whether they're suspended up under the gangplank or whether they're suspended off to the side. There might be a brush pile that a homeowner, lake owner may have put out that will hold fish. And when you spot that, the machine will exactly give you where they are so that you go over there and all you got to do now is figure out how to catch them. It's kind of like going into Bass Pro. And why would you go into the hunting section if you're fishing? Because the fish are in the fish tank.
Well put. Oh, my goodness. So, when someone hires you, arranges a day, is this usually for one person, 2, 3, 4? What do you say?
Right now we're taking 2 anglers at a time, 2 friends, father, son. I have ladies that come take the class. They buy the equipment, and they don't understand what the sonar does or what the side scan does. And it's kind of like learning to fly airplane. You got to learn. You got to have a little bit of instruction to be able to get that thing off the ground. And so we start with basics of sonar. What does sonar do? And then we get into side scan and down scan. And while we're doing this, we're going to be doing a little bit of fishing, as Henry suggested, with some live bait, and Mac did. And we pull live bait with our 20-foot tracker pontoon boat while we're running the HDS-12 live. And we see the fish, we go over there, and we put a bait on them.
Well, that's one of the things I wanted to point out, because I've been out with you before on several occasions. You're fishing out of a pontoon boat.
Correct.
It's comfortable.
Fish don't care.
It's comfortable, it's safe, and the fish don't care, do they?
No. No.
So you're not running up and down the lake at 70 miles an hour. You're in a pontoon boat. Now, does the most of the time when you locate or your equipment locates crappie, bass, largemouth, spotted bass, stripers, whatever they are are you? Let's see. Is your client surprised?
Yes. When you see the fish suspended like a school of bass under a boat dock, let's say we've got a double-wide dock with 2 boats in it. During the day, in the morning, we go by the boat dock. The fish are on one side. Then we go back by it 2 hours later. They're on the other side. And people just don't understand how deadly this equipment is. Take the water out of the lake and leave the fish. It's exactly what it does. So it eliminates the water column. And so the funny part about it is when we put the boat in the water, I don't even crank the engine. We just idle about 200, 300 yards off the end of the ramp, and I show customers there's fish right here, and we sit there and watch everybody ride right by us. And there's 30 bass right under our boat. Why do they do that? Because they don't understand the technology.
Right. And you use the more proper terminology for your business or your guiding. It's not just catching fish. What is it you call it?
Basics of sonar, so that we go find the fish first.
Okay. It's a school, is it not?
Yes. 8 hours.
8 hours of... And then they can apply that. I mean, this is not mysterious, is it?
No. I had an angler down here from Maryland last week before he went down to fish Lake Seminole, and he came down. He drove from Maryland, came to Lake Lanier, spent a day with me. We learned the side scan, down scan, and sonar, and then he went down to Seminole, and he applied it. And you know, you've got to find the fish first. That's the whole secret. It's not a fishing trip as it is learning. Don't stop the boat till you see the fish. So that's the whole idea.
Well, it's marvelous, and so far as I know, you're the king at this, and you've been helped thousands of people to be able to figure this out. And
I average about 250 sonar schools a year.
Oh, my goodness.
It helps pay for new cars.
That's right. Well, it's just marvelous to hear from you. I wish you would, I know it's early, but call more often. I like for people to, when they listen to the radio show or the television show for that matter too and watch it, I like for them to say, well, I didn't know that. I've got to give that a try. I've got to call that guy. I bet I can learn something, because when you learn about fishing or hunting, it lasts forever.
Doesn't go away, does it?
No, it doesn't. And just like Henry said in the book that we just talked about, the stripers don't know where they live.
You are absolutely correct, and that's what everybody does wrong. They go fishing instead of hunting. It's like hunting a big deer. You have to scout.
Yes.
So that's the idea. I'm making a quick offer to all your customers and listeners out there.
Okay.
If they mention O'Neill Outside when we are doing a sonar class, I'll give them a free Rods, Reels, and Lures for Bass DVD, about a $30 value. It's free. Just mention O'Neill Outside.
Well, and then you can... Yes, indeed. That's great. Well, thank you, Ken. That's quite an incentive. Yeah.
I hope it is.
It's quite an incentive.
SouthernFishing.com. And also, I've got a tackle box list. As Henry was suggesting, people know what to buy. I've got a free tackle box list that I'll send for free for bass fishing or striper fishing or crappie fishing. Just send me an email from the website, and don't forget, the fishing reports are updated every Friday, and they're free.
I see them every week. And let's see, how do people contact you, please? Give me
SouthernFishing.com, 770-889-2654.
SouthernFishing.com, and I'll leave you with a quick answer to the following question. Ken, as best you can, how long ago was it that you and I conducted that first striper seminar at that restaurant over near Gwinnett?
Red Lobster, 1982. I still have people that call and say, I remember that.
Oh, my goodness.
And the first radio show, wow, what was that all about?
Oh, my goodness, 1980?
Something like that.
Well, we'll go over that. I got to go now. Thanks for getting up early and calling us, pal.
Hug all those girls for me.
I'll do it, see you later,
Thank
pal.
you. Good day.
Good day. All right, mighty fine. That's fabulous. All right, we got to go. We'll be back. Welcome back. 40 minutes after the hour, we want to give away our Axis our Axis saw. So let's go now to John is calling, and let's ask John. John, what is a female red fox called? Maybe John's not there. Maybe I punched the right button. Maybe I can do that.
O'Neill, are you there?
Just fine, thank you.
Okay, yeah, this is John.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, it's called a vixen.
A vixen, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I have, it looks like to me, Corey, do I have two winners all at the same time? Hold on, John.
Yeah, we had two winners, but Don on line one, he keeps dropping out. He was the first one to call.
Okay, John from Lilburn. I hate to tell you, pal, but we had some technical difficulties. I'll let you win next week. How about that?
Oh, that's fine. That's okay.
Very good. You're very cooperative. And now let's go to Don, that is, D-O-N, Don from Canton, and let Don answer the question, what do you call a female red fox? Don? Well, we fouled that up, but we've got him on the line there somewhere, and we'll get him the prize package, okay?
Yeah, something's wrong with his phone.
Oh, yeah, he's got difficulty with his phone, but we'll send to Don in Canton, and the answer to the question is the name of a female red fox is called a vixen, and we'll be giving away an Axis reciprocating saw every week. Now, at 42 after the hour, the most important part of O'Neill Outside and CVA Radio.
Honor, courage, and strength of character. These qualities are embodied by the recipients of the Medal of Honor. Now let's recognize this week's Medal of Honor recipient on O'Neill Outside.
John Chapman, Master Sergeant, Afghanistan, U.S. Air Force, March 2002. During an insertion, the team's helicopter was ambushed, causing a teammate to fall into an entrenched group of enemy below. Sergeant Chapman and a team voluntarily reinserted into the snow-capped mountain, into the heart of the known enemy stronghold to rescue one of their own. Without regard for his own safety, John immediately engaged, moving into the direction of the closest enemy position, despite coming under heavy fire from multiple directions. Listen to this. He charged the enemy bunker, directly engaging the enemy, and killed all the occupants. With complete disregard for his own life, John deliberately moved from cover only 12 yards from the enemy and exposed himself once again to attack a second machine gun bunker. During this assault, John was struck and injured by enemy fire. Despite severe and eventually mortal wounds, he continued to fight relentlessly, sustaining a violent engagement with multiple enemy personnel before making the ultimate sacrifice. He fought to the death. By his heroic actions and extraordinary valor, sacrificing his life for the lives of his teammates, Technical Sergeant Chapman upheld the highest traditions of military service and reflected great credit upon himself and the United States Air Force. Master Sergeant John Chapman died that day in March 2002. He was 24 years old. It's 44 after the hour. We've got time for this, I'm sure. Now let's talk to Ed, and Ed is calling from Virginia. Good morning, Ed. Welcome to the program.
Hey, Mr. O'Neill. Hey, Mr. O'Neill, how you doing?
Good,
well,
thank you, Ed.
First time in the woods this year. I've been taking care of my father, who's 85, just turned 85, and he volunteered for Vietnam.
Well.
So you got me thinking. I was listening to you on the line.
Mm-hmm. Good. Good.
About that. But no, heading and normally I've been bow hunting in black powder, and this is the opening day of gun season here in Virginia, the oddball state where we get to run dogs.
Oh, good.
Some people like it, some people don't. And I'm kind of somewhere in the middle.
There you are.
It's fun, but it's a different type thing. Have you ever done that, Mr. O'Neill?
I have not. You do that in Georgia until the last couple of years, but I have not done that, but I would like to.
Well, please come out here. Speaking of military history, we're here in Hampton Roads. We have Yorktown and got Civil War. I can try to put you on a bass that's holding suspended over top of a Civil War redoubt.
Oh, how about that?
Whatever you'd like to call it.
That would be great.
Yeah, we're blessed with that. Virginia's changed a bunch since I've grown up here, but we're lucky here in Hampton Roads. We have great freshwater, salt water. We're a sleeper state for big deer, and we're pretty blessed that way, but it's definitely changed.
Well,
we don't talk politics on O'Neill Williams.
Oh, yeah, well, no politics. That's exactly right.
We
avoid that if we can.
Running dogs is exciting. Yes, sir.
It's a relief to to hear a radio show without any politics, isn't it?
Yes, sir, it is. It's driven me crazy, and I need my break. And
You betcha.
I'm so excited.
Well, we
finally get in the woods. Normally, I'm in there all the time.
There you go. Well, we haven't.
I look forward every week to.
We haven't dealt with it much. I will after this call, but we should have been referring to the television show this weekend as the Veterans Day Outdoor Program on CVA Radio, and we'll chat about that in a few minutes too. So good luck to you, my friend.
That sounds awesome. I love history. Please come on out to Hampton Roads, Virginia, Mr. O'Neill. We've got more history. I could sit here for an entire show just talking to you about history around here.
I'm sure.
It's a really neat place.
I'm sure.
And military and everything else. It keeps this area going.
I'm sure
you are cordially invited if you would like to come run some hounds.
Well,
and
thank
see what
you
it's
very
about.
much.
It is exciting.
I appreciate the invitation.
All right, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, pal. Bye.
All right, let's quickly talk to Black. What do you say, my good friend? How are you? Is Black around there?
Old Neil.
Hey, did you get your book?
Yeah, I'm here. Not the latest one, no.
You got the first one, didn't you?
Book. Yes, sir, I got it.
How'd you like it? Tell me.
I got it, and I really enjoyed it.
Well, I'm glad.
I enjoyed the history of your folks and everything.
Yeah, that's what it was
about. So
about.
if you'll send it to me, I'll send you a check for it.
Okay.
For the new book.
Okay. We'll it just got published. We'll get you one from Henry, and we've got your address, I guess.
Yeah, Jason should have it.
Okay. We'll get it, and we'll send you a new book. You'll enjoy it.
I said, you want me to give you that address now?
No, I'll put you back on hold, and you give the address to Jason if he doesn't already have it, and we'll get you a book.
Okay, I appreciate it.
We have his address.
Okay, we have your address, Black, so we'll be sending it to you this week.
Okay, thank you very much.
You bet. See you later, pal. You have a great weekend.
Yes, sir.
One of the things that we should have been doing over this day, I intended to do, was to refer to this program as Veterans Day Outdoors. I am blessed. Of course, Veterans Day is for people who survived. Memorial Day is for military people who did not. And one of the things that was on my Facebook page this week, Gail put it there, was that how often it is and how gratifying it is that many times you get raised by your hero. I was. When I was 6 weeks old, my father, who was 21, was a fighter pilot in World War II, and he died while he was sitting on the runway and another plane crashed into him. So my mother remarried when I was 3 years old, and my dad, Henry Otis Nash, was or had been a radio operator on a B-29 with 25 missions over Japan. As a matter of fact, he was part of the Curtis LeMay attacks that flew in over Tokyo at 5,000 feet and set Tokyo on fire. And he was a hero. And I guess the greatest tribute to him was one of the things that he lived to be 92 years old, and one of the things that's the greatest tribute to him came from Gail, my wife. Gail and I have been married now for 55 years. And the tribute that she gave to him is the greatest tribute I ever heard for a father. And what she told him was, my dad was named Donald O'Neill Williams, like me. I was a junior. But what she told him was that if Donald O'Neill could have picked a man to raise me, it would have been him. And I can think of no other tribute greater for someone to observe and come up with that conclusion. And he was perfect for me. He died a few years ago. He was 92, and he rarely ever, like most veterans, he rarely ever discussed his military service of those 25 missions over Japan. The only thing he ever told me was that it was thrilling to fly in over Tokyo at 5,000 feet in B-29 Super Fortress bomber squadrons. And it took 7.5 hours to fly over, 2 minutes to drop the bombs, and 7.5 hours to fly back. And when I asked him who were heroes to him in the war, quite without surprise, he said the heroes of the war for him were the Marines that captured Iwo Jima and some of the other islands controlled by the Japanese. Because my father said they would have had to ditch the aircraft in the ocean if they had not had Iwo Jima to land halfway back to Tinian. Okay, enough about that. This is Veterans Day on O'Neill Outside and CVA Radio. I do appreciate your participation in the program, and we'll have a mini review of the things we've talked about upon our return. This is CVA Radio. I'm O'Neill Outside, and this is Veterans Saturday. We'll be back. Yes, indeed, at last. This is O'Neill at the end of CVA Radio for Veterans Saturday. We had quite a show today, didn't we? These are kind of gratifying. Not in this area of importance. We found out that Travis Johnson lives in Oklahoma, that the female red fox is called a vixen. We learned about the tips for hunting during the deer rut, how to cover scent, some surprising ideas about how to cover scent. We learned about the on-the-water schools and the equipment that's available for you to use to make yourself a better fisherman wherever. We learned about a book called Fly Fishing for Striped Bass from our good friend Hank the Yank. Where to buy that? On Amazon and various shops all around Atlanta. So indeed we learned quite a bit today during the program. I think so. And when the program is over, if you can stand O'Neill, then maybe you can say, I got to try that. Or I have to keep that in mind. We learned those things from Hank the Yank, from Mac Farr, and our callers from all over the country. So why not make plans to join us every Saturday morning for CVA Radio and O'Neill Outside. This is O'Neill. I'll see you next week.
I once asked a mighty hunter, coming home from the field, how he came to possess such mighty hunting and fishing skill. He said, I'll tell you a secret, son. I learned everything I know from listening to O'Neill Outside on my radio